Hey, everybody, welcome. Before I get going and doing my spiel, I want everybody to first tell me, where are you following us from? Two, I'm always having assignments for y'all. Two, I would like for you, since we are over here now live on YouTube, please share the button, hit subscribe, so you'll be in touch whenever a new episode, such as tonight, will be dropping. And in the notes, if you want to give us a shout out, I love shout outs, kudos, hearts, questions, drop it there. We get them here instantly. But I want to ask you all, before we get into tonight's show, I wanted to ask you, are you feeling a shift in your life, but you can't name it? And see, I asked that question because so many women, actually I've come across a lot of women where they feel the shift, but they don't know what the shift is. So what we have done is I have now created She Shift, where I bring on women such as yourself, been in your shoes such as yourself, they've shifted. And so they'll be able to help you and give you tips. They can give you stories, you can connect, and so much more. So that is why I have created She Shift. If you don't know me, my name is Pam Stone, and I am your host, as well as I also am the CEO of Vision Made Magazine. So grab your pen, your paper, your water. Look, I already have my snack, and also gonna have to wing it tonight. Bring your snack, drop it in the feed. Let me know again where you are coming from, and I am going to bring on tonight's guest. Get your pen, paper, because she's going to be dropping nuggets as she always does. On today's to the stage is joining me Nicole Simpson. How you doing, lady? Can you hear me? I
Hey,
can't
I
hear
am
you.
doing great. How are you? I
You know what?
can.
I'm so excited about you joining. Look, finally have you on the show, so joining me to the stage. So I'm super excited about that. So those ladies that don't know you as I know you, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Are you able to hear me now?
I am.
Okay, great. There must just be a delay. Yeah, my name is Nicole Simpson. I am here in Columbus, Ohio, as a risk protection specialist. What that means is really a really fancy way of saying that I am an insurance agent, and hopefully your next favorite insurance agent. I've lived here literally my whole life in Central Ohio, and I enjoy serving families and businesses who are in need of insurance protection and just making sure that people have a great understanding of how insurance works, how to be able to really protect their assets. And then, really, as it pertains to women in particular, women have been a group of individuals who have been cut out of being able to gain access to financial tools such as insurance. As a result of that, women are also the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs, the fastest group of women who are becoming owners of things, right? Whether or not it's homes and assets, businesses, they kind of are running the world, right? Women are running the world, and we run the risk of losing it all if it's not properly protected. And I'd hate to see people lose all of this momentum because of one bad day. And so I help people make sure that that doesn't happen by making sure they have the appropriate protection in place.
Okay, I love that. That was good. That was good. If, Nicole, as you said, you're serving the woman population. Is there one population that stands out above others that are lacking that knowledge or even knowing about the insurance industry or what they need?
I'll be honest. I'll tell you that it's probably millennials. Millennials are the first group to come out into the world with kind of a head above maybe what our mothers had, right?
Mhm.
And so we have amassed a huge amount of wealth that we can't necessarily look back and say, hey, mom, hey, auntie, how did you handle this? Because we are experiencing levels of wealth and assets that people before us have not.
Wow. So that's surprising. I'm a little surprised. I thought it would be honestly my generation, the 45 and older, who now has the reality has set in. I've come across so many women that are over 45 that are not knowing what to do. literally down to the point of if something, and I was told this exact words and I was floored. I did give her your name, so don't be surprised. But she
Okay.
did say if something was to happen to her husband, she wouldn't even know what to do. She didn't even know where to start. And so for that, I was taken back, but not surprised. So what do you say to someone like that?
I'm glad that you brought that up because that is almost the complete synopsis of the difference between the millennial group and then the Gen Xers, right?
Mm.
So if you think about it, you said that typically you thought I would say the 45 and older. Guess what? The millennials are turning 45 this year. The oldest millennial turned 45 this year.
Oh.
So the millennial age starts in 1981. So that is where the millennials start. And then the Gen Xers that are just right ahead of that group was more likely to be reliant on a spouse or a partner and kind of not be involved. The millennial is more likely to be independent and have their hands and eyes and ears on all of the things that are going on. So I'm not surprised to hear that perhaps someone who is a Gen X or greater having that situation. And it's just really important because guess what? Women typically outlive the men. So just knowing that statistically, we need to get a handle on and a true understanding of what is going on behind the scenes, because those things are going to be left in our laps to be able to take care of. God forbid something happened to our loved ones sooner than what we expect them to.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. How did you navigate the life changes that built the strength, the empathy, and confidence, and where you are, what brought you to where you are now? How did you do all that? Because I've seen you moving and shifting amongst so many women, and you've done it with grace. And how did you do that?
That's always an interesting question coming from you because I remember a conversation you and I had in a cafe where you were kind of asking me about these shifts happening probably about a decade ago.
Absolutely.
And to be honest, it's just really been a matter of every single year I take the time to double down on the thing that I
Mhm.
really want to do, right? What are the things that I really want to do? And how do I want to go about doing it? And what makes the way that I do it different than anyone else in the marketplace who is actually doing that? And I don't always get it 100% right each and every year, but I get a step closer every single year because I am setting some attainable goals to be able to make sure that I can meet some milestones, I can make some metrics. And that could really be anything. You know, some of the years in terms of growing and shifting, it's really administrative. And so it's all about me spending a ton of time building relationships with all of these different insurance companies that are out there. There are hundreds of insurance companies that are available to you. And when you meet with your insurance agency professional, you're only meeting with the ones that that agent has access to. That may not be the best insurance that's out there. So some of the years in that shift, I've worked really hard to make sure that when I do bring an insurance carrier to market for my clients, that is the best insurance that I can find for whatever that reason may be, and that they're going to be sticking around. I don't want people to come over to my company and get a policy with a company that's going to go out of business next year.
Mm.
So, you know, it just depends. Every year I'm just taking a step forward, and there's just always a different type of a milestone that I'm looking to hit in order to be able to make the shifts that I've been able to.
I love it. So as you're doing the shifting, and someone already has pinged me on this side. They want to know how, before we get any further, they want to know how can they contact you. So can you go ahead and let everyone know now?
Sure. Yeah, I can be reached at gofundyourlife.com. That's probably the easiest way. As soon as you go to my website, there'll be options for you to get information on a quote or just to directly contact us here in the office.
So what made you come up with the name Go Fund Your Life?
You know, Go Fund Your Life, believe it or not, it started as an insurance resource group here in town with me and some other local agents. And so I would gather all these agents from different companies, State Farm, Farmers, American Family, and we'd meet together at coffee shops and say, hey, what does your company have that mine doesn't? And so forth and so on, so that we could refer within ourselves for whatever the need might be that a client may have. So we were just calling it the Go Fund Your Life group. And it just really started to sound kind of catchy. And as everybody started to throw it around, I said, you know what? I'm going to reclaim that for my own. And I took my name back, honey, and I went down to the trademark office and I trademarked that thing. Okay. So that's where it started, but it was really just designed to keep in the forefront of everybody's mind that a lot of us are using GoFundMe for every kind of disaster, right? Every bad day almost comes with a GoFundMe, right? You can log on there right now, and everything that you're going to scroll through is going to be a result of someone having a bad day. And I have so much inventory on my shelves of things that fix all of those problems, right? And the average GoFundMe is only reaching 10% of what their actual goal is, if that, when I can fund it 100% of the way. A lot of those things can be solved with insurance, and I just want people to really see and know that. So go fund your own life, right? You need to put those dollars in a place that you're going to have access to them in the future. It's guaranteed, right? You know what's going to be coming in the future, not hope and a wish and a pray that everybody can put money into the pot.
So when you talk about insurance, what type of insurances do you offer, or is there any that you don't offer?
I do not offer health insurance. So we have a what's considered property and casualty side. So that's going to be your home and auto, and those general kinds of policies, your motorcycles, your boats, things like that. On the other side, we have what's considered commercial insurance. So that's going to be all your business insurances, your general liability, professional liability, and property coverages. And then we have a financial services side of the house where we're offering life insurance, long-term care, and also some annuities, which is actually an insurance policy turned inside out. But that also comes from the insurance side of things. So yeah.
So is there, you know, how you see, and I'm gonna just give you an example on the TV where guaranteed insurance at so much, I forget who it is. Is that something that you do, or do they have to go through a process?
So yeah, I do have a wide variety of insurance options. Guaranteed issue life insurance is definitely the stuff you get in the mail. You see it on TV. They're showing it, you know, after grandma's favorite show at nighttime before she goes to bed. That stuff is out there. And I have some options that are held in house. And a lot of times they are a little bit less expensive depending on when someone goes to get it. And I'm glad that you spoke on that topic, because when you go out and get a guaranteed issue policy, it's guaranteed because they're just going to give it to you sight unseen. Right. So think of anything else out in the world that you can just go to and you don't tell them nothing and they're just going to give it to you just because it doesn't exist. And so the truth about those guaranteed issue policies is because they're not asking you any questions, it's guaranteed and you get it. The caveat to that is that you have to survive 2 years and sometimes 3 years before those policies pay out.
Wow.
And so, yes. And what a lot of people will do is they will wait until there's an illness. They'll wait until the diagnosis came. They'll wait until they know something bad is looming and say, oh, it's time now for me to go ahead and get that insurance. Life insurance can't be purchased like car insurance or home insurance. You've got to have this kind a little bit further in advance. And that's one of the reasons why many people will say, oh, insurance is a scam. I bought that insurance from my mom or my dad and it didn't even pay out. All they gave me back was a couple of pennies. That wasn't enough to bury them. That wasn't enough to handle a cremation. It's oftentimes because they've waited so long that they did not survive that 2-year waiting period. So generally, when you see a guaranteed issue policy, not all of them are that way. So do your research. You need to ask them, is there a waiting period before this policy is going to pay out? Chances are there's going to be one.
Okay. That's good to know, because I've heard so many. Actually, someone just reached out to me about one. I'm like, I have enough. Thank you. But I know I can come to you too. So I was just like, thanks a lot. But I'm glad we talked on that. So my question too is, we talk a lot about shift on this show. When did you realize your work was about more than insurance and finances? It was about impact and legacy.
I've always known that this career was about impacting a legacy. I've always known that that's what this career was about. The insurance industry is a very difficult industry. You'll meet probably hundreds of people who have gone out and gotten an insurance license that have been in and back out of the business quicker than you can recall. And that is because there are a lot of hurdles to be able to overcome in the industry. There's a lot of more education when you think about women and minorities. So if that is the population that you serve, your sales cycle is a lot longer, right? Because I've got to, instead of me just saying, hey, here's this pen, you know what a pen is, I'd like for you to buy a pen, and how many of them do you want? I have to start with, hey, this is a pen, it has ink inside, this ink is used to write. I'm having to start probably 10 steps behind my competitor in terms of where I need to go in to explain it. I can go into some communities and they are already so educated on the topic of insurance that they can run it down better than me sometimes. They can tell me, hey, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, this is how I want it. It's like they're at a Burger King drive-through sometimes. When I am working with women, especially millennials, they are definitely more educated because they will go out and Google everything and kind of have a basic framework, which is great. But the majority of the folks, they don't know. When they come to you, they need you to give the full education and all of that, which I don't mind doing, but that's not what pays me. And so I had to make a decision of, was I more concerned about getting rich quickly in the financial services business, or was I more interested in serving communities? And that meant that sometimes I was going to have a much longer time period before I was ever able to get that client to purchase a policy. And in my agency, I've been in insurance now for, oh my goodness, I've been totally in insurance for almost 18 years, I think, this year. I'm starting to lose count. But in my agency, the average person, before it actually sticks, they lapse a policy 3 times.
3 times.
3 times a policy will lapse before they finally get it and it sticks.
Wow.
So that's a lot. That's a hard pill to swallow. And that is the reason why this industry is so difficult for most people. And so if you are not choosing a more purpose-driven reason to be in this industry, you'll be out of it quickly. Because if it was just for the money, there's times that just doesn't make financial sense, just in terms of having to deal with that. But I get it. And I understand it to be a lack of education. I understand that there are systemic issues that have kind of redlined many of us outside of these particular financial tools. And so I don't mind taking that time with you. Now, by the time you lapse a policy with me on number 4, 5, and 6, I'm probably done. Okay.
I understand.
That's another problem outside of the education piece, but I do track the metrics, and I know that that's on par. I know that that's average, that for most of my clients, I see them come back 3 different times before they finally say, okay, Nicole, I get it. I see the value. This all makes sense, and I don't want to be without it anymore.
So what value can we add to them right now? We have people that are listening to us around the world. What value can you add to them now so they understand? At least, I know you can't. I understand it takes time, but what is some nugget that you can drop to them now? They can okay, I understand what you're saying. May not get it, but I understand what you're saying.
The thing about insurance, and no matter what kind of insurance it is, right? Insurance is money for sale, right? I am selling money for that future bad day. And every time you purchase an insurance policy, that's what you're buying. You are actually buying in advance, right? So you're buying a future forward paycheck that's going to show up on the day that the bad day happens. Whether or not that's the day that you go out and you slip on some black ice and you rear end somebody, whether or not that's a day like I had a couple years ago where you're getting ready to go on vacation and your house burns down, right? Or if you pass away unexpectedly. And guess what? Every death is unexpected. I don't care if somebody's on hospice. The day that they pass away, it is still an unexpected occurrence, no matter what. So if you know that you can go to the store and there's all these things you can buy, right? You can buy shoes, you can buy music, you can buy clothes, you can buy cars. And then the way down at the end, there's a store that you can buy money. I don't know why people don't come out and buy more of it, because we do. And these are insurance contracts. And so there's a contract that tells you exactly how, when, and where those dollars are due to you. So as long as you understand your contract, you can buy guaranteed money that's absolutely going to be there on the day that the bad day happens. And the bad day always comes, and you never know when it's going to be. A lot of times it's an accident, and no one plans an accident.
True.
Right?
That's true. That is true. No one does plan an accident. But do you feel that the lack of purchasing that money that you talk about, which is right, is it because of fear? Fear of the unknown, fear of, well, lack of it. I'd still say lack of education. Because I've heard so many people say, I didn't know that. I don't know how many people I've heard, I didn't know that. If they did, or the other one I've heard, if someone would have told me a little differently, I may have done it different. Is that truly the case? Or what is really the barrier that is holding, because I want women, especially women over 45, I want them to remove, I want us to, especially to help the women that are like, if someone's to pass away, I don't even know what to do. And they have to understand the importance of this, doing this. And I tried to explain it to her, but of course that's not my expertise. But I tried to explain to her, you have to take control of your life. And how do you get someone to understand that?
To have someone understand it, they have to understand what's at risk.
Mm,
They have to understand what the value is of the thing that they're trying to protect. So when you're thinking about life insurance, people have a hard time wrapping their minds around it because there's no insurance that's going to bring back a person, right? So it
mhm,
shouldn't even be called life insurance. What life insurance is truthfully designed to do is replace the lost income of that individual and all of the people who were being supported by that individual. So when you talk about your friend, if they have a spouse, if they are both contributing to the household, if something happened to her spouse last night, she just lost half of her income,
mhm.
and insurance can come back in and fill that gap right back in,
That's a
right?
good, yes, yeah, that's a great, that right there would make me think, okay, that does make sense, because you've made it so simple for someone who's like I said, she was very comfortable in telling me this, to the point of, but yeah, let me ask you this. What does legacy really mean to you at this stage of life?
To me personally, what does it mean?
Yep, yep.
Personally, to me, I come from a long line of only children. My mother is an only child, and I am an only child, and my son is an only child. My mother's going to be retiring soon from her job that she's worked 30 years, and she's going to be young enough to still work. And my son's going to be graduating from college soon.
What?
Yes. and out going to look for work. So these two individuals are going to be on the opposite end of the spectrum. One ending a career but still able to work, one getting ready to start a career, and they're both going to be in the same position where they're going to be in a really hard job market. People are not going to want to hire them because of lack of experience or because of the age or whichever. For me personally, legacy is being able to build my agency to a place that I can hire mom. I can bring my son in, and he can begin to hire all of his friends to be able to continue to grow our agency. So that is very much what I am focused on, is being able to reach back and pull up, because when I look at my peers, Pam, many of my peers are third, fourth, and fifth generation insurance agency owners.
Mm,
Our community doesn't have quite that much longevity in the insurance market. The folks that we do have, many of them are in first generation, even though they may have 40 or 50-year agencies. And I believe here in Central Ohio, there may be one or two African-American agencies that are maybe on second or third generation. But still, you can count them all on one hand. When you go out and look at different communities, that is very, very common. These folks have relationships that
mhm.
have gone back for generations, that they just, what I mean? Like, they don't even have to worry about coming in to pick up their phone. Their phone is ringing because their grandma's grandma had insurance with that agency, you know?
That's true. Yeah, that is true. That
Yeah.
is true. I like that. I really like that. Let me see here. What happens in families and communities when women are financially protected and empowered?
When families are financially protected and empowered, those communities are always going to thrive, and everything around them is going to thrive. So when you think about from the local level, when you're able to have financial empowerment, meaning that someone is financially stable, they're not having to rob Peter to pay Paul, they're able to spend more money in all of the local businesses. right?
Mhm.
They're able to continue to help that community grow. They're likely
Yeah.
to be more philanthropic. Women are generally more philanthropic, right? If they
Yeah.
have a couple of extra coins, they're either going to give it to the church, the United Way, or some little boy on the side of the road who's asking them to buy candy bars and bottled water, right?
Right.
Women are more than likely to keep those dollars in the community when they are financially secure, and definitely more likely to be able to see um, the wealth get transferred to the next generation. A lot of times when you look historically of wealth transfer, um, it's different in the way that it's done with women. Women are doing things like starting foundations.
Mhm.
You're
Yes.
seeing lots of women that are starting foundations and saying, "Hey, I've been able to build this business, and part of my succession planning, I want to have a foundation that goes out and does this good work when I'm long gone." So
Right.
the impact is amazing when you really think about it, and it's a ripple that doesn't stop, right? It just continues to go and touch another person. So it's very, very important. And you can see in our communities that look like Swiss cheese, those holes and those gaps are
Yes.
the gaps of financial empowerment and overall financial independence and financial stability. That's where those gaps actually are.
Oh, love it. Okay, last question. When your work is complete, what do you want your name and impact to represent?
Mm. When my work is complete, I want my name. I want my name to represent futures funded.
Mhm.
I want 100 years from now for people to say, "Hey, this bad thing happened to my family," and the next thing out of their mouth they say, "But we talked to Go Fund Your Life," and everybody else on the other side of that phone, on the other side of that media post, gives a sigh of relief because they know that if they did that, then they know that they're taken care of.
I love it. Miss Nicole, this has been so much fun. So before we wrap it up, I always do rapid fire with everyone, and it's just to have fun. But
Okay.
before I do that, I want to know, can you go ahead again and can you drop it where everyone can contact you at?
Yes, it's www.gofundyourlife.com.
Love it. Love it. Okay, you ready for the rapid fire?
I think so. I don't know. We'll see.
Yes, you are. Wealth with intentions mean what to you?
Say it one more time. What with intentions?
Wealth, wealth with intention means what?
Wealth with intention means you have a plan.
The biggest shift in your life was
Becoming an empty nester.
coffee or tea?
Coffee. Black.
Ooh. Oh, there's your chest. Okay. At this stage of my life, I'm becoming
Peaceful.
ooh. One thing every woman over 40 deserves.
To receive.
My legacy will be
To be determined.
love it. And what book are you currently reading that you recommend everybody to read?
I'm not currently reading it, but I recommend everybody to read Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil.
I just finished it.
It is an amazing read, and you can read it 100 different times depending on where you are in your life, and it will speak to you in some way. I got that book for my son for Christmas several years ago, and
Uh-huh.
I put $500 in it. And I found that book in the basement on the bookshelf with the $500 still in it. So he has not arrived. I became $500 richer, and he's clearly not read that book. So don't be like my son, because there's probably not $500 in there, but there's going to be some gems in that book that are worth far more.
Absolutely. Well, that was it. So, Nicole, as we get ready to close it down, what would you like to leave everybody with?
Listen, don't let the bad day come without having proper protection in place, no matter if that's for your home, for your car, your business, for your income, for any of the things that you think of that have value in your life. Make sure that no bad day can just destroy that without being able to have a plan to come in and repair and replace.
Thank you, Miss Nicole. You have been powerful and impactful, as I knew you would be. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna put you in the green room. Don't go anywhere, and I'll be right back with you.
Okay, sounds great.
All right. Okay, you guys. I mean, I didn't. My paper, as I knew, Nicole would be dropping gems left and right. She talked about the importance of life insurance. Okay, ladies, especially those of us who are over 45, I need you guys to take control and take handle of your financials. And if you're looking for someone who can help you with your insurance, Nicole is the woman. And know that you don't have to do this alone. That's why She Shift was built. So you won't have to be alone. You can do it with Nicole. You can do it with so many other women. But know your shift is just around the corner. Well, you guys, I hope today was impactful and inspiring as it is for me. I hope that you feel that if you feel that someone can benefit from the show, share. I always say sharing is caring. And then I got one more. Oh, wait a minute. I got two more asks. My other ask is go out there and drop me some feedback. The more feedback I get, the more makes She Shift move up the ladder. And then lastly, tonight's show was sponsored by Vision Made Magazine. Nicole's in there. You can see what she has written and what she's talking about. She's one of the top 20 women over 40 that we wanted to recognize. If you're interested in gaining a copy of Vision Made Magazine, text me at 614-674-0074 and put in the text magazine, and I'll send you a copy. So without that, you guys, tonight was amazing. I'm having so much fun. I'm hoping She Shift is helping you shift to your what's next. Until next week, take care of yourself and go out here and shift to your what's next. Bye, everybody.